Hey, Brandy Joy here with Brandy Joy TV, your astrologer for the week of June 27th, 2018 already. Can you believe it? Happy full moon. It's actually a full moon in a couple of hours here, and it's the full moon in Capricorn. All right, and this is actually conjunct Saturn. It is on Saturn energy. Saturn is the ruler of Capricorn. So there's a lot of Capricorn Saturnian energy right now. So the sun is in Cancer, and when we have a full moon, the sun and the moon actually oppose each other. They go opposite in the sky. And so the moon is hitting Saturn over there in Capricorn at 6 degrees, and we have the sun over in Cancer. Okay, so they're opposing each other. And then on top of that, we actually have a lot of Mars energy this week as well. Okay, so let's talk about this. Let's talk about what's going on. Hi, everybody. Good to see all of you. Thanks for joining. Good to see you. I've had a long day. I'm a little tired. Been teaching all day and grading and doing things like that. So I broke everything down for you guys to talk about the weekend and this week. We have Mars retrograde. Mars just went into retrograde today, yesterday. It was stationed, and now it's like turning retrograde. It looks like it's going backwards in the sky, which means a lot of time of reflection. When a planet retrogrades, it's reflection on that archetype, that energy. And so Mars is power and war and the warrior and courage and assertion, right? And so that's why I called this particular broadcast Bullies and Boundaries, is because we're talking about Capricorn and Martian energy, okay? And so that's what I really want to hone in on this week and talk to you about, because this is a pretty heavy week, especially up until about Saturday. The weekend, it'll lighten up a little bit as Mercury goes into Leo and some things lighten up a bit. But during this week, we have a lot of grounded energy, a lot of Capricorn heavy energy, Saturn, right, which is Father Time, which slows things down and challenges you and structures and makes you discipline. And then Mars is very similar, but Mars is like the soldier, right? So Mars is very much about your power and your assertion, okay? So these archetypes are what we're dealing with this week as we enter the weekend. Can everybody hear me okay? Hi there. You don't have audio, Julie. That's not good. Is anybody else having any audio issues? Because I do have it plugged in here. Hi. Yes, as in you're having audio issues? Or okay, it looks like everybody is okay, I think. Okay, Cindy, you can hear me? Okay, all right, good. Okay, so that might just be that one person that's maybe having some issues with their speaker or something like that. Okay. So happy full moon though, right? Full moon in Capricorn. And this week and next week with the Mars retrograde, it's going to be very intense for a lot of people with Mars, okay? So Mars is very much about your courage, your assertion, aggression, and agitation even, and frustrations. So with Mars retrograde, which just, happened this week, just happened the past couple of days now, it really shifted. A lot of unresolved conflicts are going to come up for many people. So things that need to be resolved that haven't been resolved are going to start surfacing right now, especially when the moon is on Saturn. The moon and the sun are full, right? You have the full illumination. So this is illuminating karma, illuminating unresolved issues. So things are going to be surfacing right now. We do have Uranus also involved, which creates a lot of surprises, shocks, and nervous system type stuff, okay? And many of you that are in my my Vibe membership, my Vibe Mastermind, you know that we've been talking about this stuff that's going on and these eclipses that are coming up. And yeah, there's just a whole lot going on. And those nodes are going to be aspected this coming month. So I'm actually going over the nodes this week. We're starting on the moon's nodes. If you're in my membership, we're going to really jump into that and look at your charts and stuff. So I do really want to get into this though concerning Mars, because Mars is a heavy energy. Okay. So this is a good time to clarify your goals with Saturn and Mars in aspect. This is about reflecting on your goals and your long-term dreams over the next 28 years, actually, which is Saturn. Okay, so this is the sun is impacting Saturn and the moon in a big, big way. It's like a full moon on Saturn. So it has to do with your long-term goals, your long-term dreams, what needs to be redefined to get you to move forward in a better way. This is a lot of karma wrap up for a lot of people. So things are ending and beginning for people. There's a lot of doors closing, contracts are ending, sacred contracts. So there's a lot of shifts right now underway. And this energy is like, hey, what do you really want? What will you fight for in a way, right? Because Mars is about, it's the fighter. It's the aggressor. It can cause a lot of agitation, a lot of frustration, also a lot of motivation. So if you are experiencing frustrations and agitation, use the Saturn energy, which kind of puts the brakes on things. And so this is about reflection with this full moon, and really reflect on things. Take a little time this week. Try not to rush. Everybody's very busy right now, and everybody's kind of rushing with the Mars energy. It's a very fiery energy that's like, it's almost like fire and earth, right? Fire and earth is kind of a pressure type of energy. And so it's a good time to reflect on things. It's a good time to kind of step back a little bit, maybe even get away from people a little bit right now, because there's so many agitations in the air with so many people that it's going to cause a lot of conflict. So the less conflict you have, the better, right? And the more unconscious someone is, the more that they're going to act out, the more we're going to see bullying right now. You're going to see people overstepping boundaries and just trying to aggravate other people, maybe even not on purpose, but being like vampires because their power is under like fire right now. Okay. There's like a continuum between the Mars energy, the Martian energy. Okay. You have people that suppress their Mars energy, that suppress the emotions and the anger and the instinct and all of that, right? So you have this side over here suppressing, and then you have people over here that are like, very just dominating and overly aggressive and overstepping people's boundaries. And so when these people overstep these people's boundaries, all those suppressed energy, woo, watch out, okay? So, really what you want to do right now, this is about balance, finding a balance when you have Saturn, okay? So Saturn is like, hey, what do you need to do to make this right? So with all this Mars energy, it wants you to bring it into balance, which is to be assertive, but professional about it, or another word instead of like in your personal life would be assertive, but understanding. Okay. And in your business life, professional, but assertive. Okay. So you want to be assertive, but not in an attacking or an emotional way. Right. So this is that energy this week and next week as well. Once we hit a Mars retrograde, this goes on until October, but the first couple of weeks as it's shifting, it's a very strong energy, especially with the full moon that's going on, okay, with Saturn energy. And so this is about what do you need to do to discipline yourself so that your energies don't blow up, right? Because you might feel very agitated by people, especially, if you're surrounded with a lot of karma, or you have people that are dealing with a lot of karma, and maybe you're a light worker, and so you're dealing with people with their karma. And so try to be, understanding, but also be assertive. Don't let people overstep their boundaries. Don't let people bully or anything like that, but try to deal with it in a balanced way with a very Saturn type of energy. So again, just be assertive, but not aggressive. All right. Because a lot of people are dealing with suppressed energies and also overstepping boundaries and not knowing what they are. Okay. So this energy is very, very strong this week. There's going to be a lot of people getting on each other's nerves, a lot of agitation. Driving around in Orlando, we have a lot of traffic, and I've seen a lot of people almost getting into accidents. And I'm just like being very careful because I can see that people are just very fiery right now and almost uncontrolled in many ways. So this is about courage and assertion, though. And things are going to escalate right now. All right. So just be prepared for escalations, right? Yeah, you're trying to remain calm. Good, great. This is really a good time for you to meditate or to go into nature. maybe take your shoes off and, I don't know, go to the beach or the woods and walk around in nature and try to connect with the earth energy, because this energy is very agitating on people's nervous system. Okay, so you want to be grounded with it, and you want to try to allow it to flow, without it being suppressed or being overstepping on other people's boundaries. So just be careful this week. Okay, that's why it's best to kind of just not be too reactive to people. Say what you need to say if you need to say something, but don't be overreactive to people. Just try to keep your cool, right? Do some chakra balancing. If you are a part of my membership or you have my tantric course, you know that I'm all about clearing those chakras all the time to stay in balance, because they get very imbalanced with a Mars energy. Mars is very fiery, so it will get things going in the lower chakras. And if you're suppressing emotions down, then that can be very overreactive, okay, and very instinctual and very much about your power. So just be careful with that and try to be balanced. Oh, you got some unsettling news. I'm very sorry to hear that. I think a lot of people are going to get that right now, because we do have the Uranus aspect as well, which is very much about shocks and surprises. And over this next month, as we go through July with the eclipses, that's going to be a really tough month for a lot of people. And we're already entering that phase right now, which is, it just makes sense, right, with this energy. So a lot of irritating situations are going to escalate. Just be prepared for that, okay? Make sure you're meditating every day. Make sure you're doing stuff that keeps your aura and your vibration in check. Now, beyond that, that Sun opposing Saturn that's happening right now as we speak, and it's happening for the next couple of days. It's about being honest, but with a dose of reality, okay? So it's like karma's going to be really opening up. Things are going to be illuminated, and it's about evaluating things in a very honest way. So try to be reflective, but not reactive about everything that's going on. And so there's a lot of heavy energies. A lot of people are feeling like they're depressed, but they're not really depressed. They're just reflecting on things. So just be aware that reflection doesn't mean you need to be depressed about it. It just means that you need to work something out with it, right? And this heavy energy will change. It's going to lighten up a little bit this weekend in a certain way. And then when we hit the solar eclipse on July 13th, it's really going to lighten up and it's going to start shifting, okay? So be prepared for the shifts in July. With the full moon, though, it's actually aspecting Uranus, so expect some surprises, like I said, and this could help to change your perspective in your success in life. So it'll change like your understanding of how you see your success. It might be that you feel like maybe you're unsuccessful or something, and so it'll kind of brighten things up and say, hey, but you are successful because of this and that. Or it will change maybe the way that you are working on your success. So a lot of people are very busy right now, very much about working, because Saturn is about work, but also about being a little assertive and aggressive. So just be careful with that. But this is about long-term positive changes. It's not like this is going to be like, oh my God, everything's just going to go to hell. No, it's about actually creating positive change. And that's why these energies are working the way that they are, because this is about illuminating your sense of self and how to create change for the better in terms of your future. This summer is going to be a very enlightening summer for many people. It's going to be very empowering if you use it in a developmental kind of way, instead of just like, oh, this is so horrible, this is so negative. Don't do that. Be more empowering about it. Use affirmations and be assertive, and really come into yourself and meditate on things and get some answers from your spirit guides. Also, I want to mention there is a Venus square Jupiter aspect this week. So be very careful with your money. All right. Don't be overindulgent, because there can be a lot of waste with that type of aspect, right? Because Venus is about your money, your self-worth, and like your resources and things you want. And then Jupiter expands things. And it's in harsh aspect, which means it could expand you spending money, wasting your money and things like that. So just be aware that's the big key there, is just to be aware and go, oh, wait, I was about to just throw money at this. Like, be aware of that, because that aspect will kind of trigger people to do things like that. Okay, so just be aware of that. And this weekend, I did mention earlier, Mercury goes into Leo. This weekend, it will shift from Cancer to Leo. And that's always a big shift when Mercury changes signs, because Mercury is our sign of communication. And so people have been very much about communicating and perceiving in a very emotional way, right? But this weekend, it's going to lighten up as Mercury shifts into a fiery Leo sign, which is really going to lighten people up in terms of being more creative and also perceiving things in a lighter hearted way, at least a little bit, as these heavy energies are hitting us right now. Okay, so some shocks are going to happen. Just expect that. And there's going to be a lot of revealing this weekend, because we will have a Uranus aspect as well. So do expect a lot of revealing, a lot of contracts coming to end, a lot of surprises and shocks with these heavy energies, and a lot of conflicts and people kind of clashing and overstepping boundaries, and then having to assert, or people being overly aggressive and bullying and things like that can happen. Okay. Whew, that was a lot this week, right? Yeah, and that's this week is a very, very strong, intense week with the full moon and all this stuff going on. So I know this was actually a little bit more than I usually do. I usually try to stick to 10 minutes, but this one is almost 20 minutes this week, because it is a big week, right? And it's a big shift. So this is very important for you. From now until October, we have a huge shift, and then we have the next 28 years as this is activated. So this is pretty big. And then as we shift out of this, we're going to be entering into eclipse season right now. So this is like really just like, big shift. Okay. So thanks so much for joining me, you guys. If you're in my Tarot Masterclass, you know, we have a live class tomorrow night on Thursday. Make sure you join us at 9 p.m. Eastern. And if you are in Vibe membership, our mastermind, we will be having class as usual on Saturday. We're going to be talking about the nodes. I'm going to be going over some of the nodes that I have, or I should say your astrology charts with the nodes. And I will be sending out a lesson either later tonight or in the morning. I've been working on it and it's almost done. So that lesson will be out, and then Saturday we'll be going over the charts with it. So thank you everybody for joining me, and I will see you on Monday for Pick a Card as usual, 10 p.m. Eastern, same place, same time. All right. See you all Monday, and have a wonderful full moon, and use this Mars retrograde and Saturn aspect to the best of your ability. Okay, everybody. Thank you. What does 28 years mean? Saturn moves every 7 years in aspect, and sometimes 4 is 28. So that's when it is at the return. And so right now it's at activation period, which means that it's creating a new karmic cycle for the whole world. So it's like a new cycle. So things are ending and beginning as the sun is across from Saturn right now. So it's a new cycle for 28 years. So that's what that means. But if you want to learn more, join the Vibe membership, and I teach astrology. You get 2 lessons a week. All right. So bye, everybody. Have a great week. Bye.